billion. This is the figure of the day. What could you do with that? For me, I don't know. For you, but I can do plenty of things. Yeah, very nice business I can build, and also holiday I can give myself. So what could you do with that? So maybe you want to be installing more solar panels, and I'm sure you've noticed that a lot more people around you are installing solar panel, right? This has to do, or may have to do, with this figure. So 200 billion. In fact, this is the global investment in manufacturing in five key clean technologies. We have solar, we have wind, we have batteries, electrolyzer, and also heat pump, solar PV more precisely. And in fact, this 200 billion figure, that's actually what we observe as investment in those technologies for 2023. And bear in mind, this is 70% more than 2022. That's staggering. Yeah, and this represents 4% of the global GDP. It shows you that, yes, really, one of the key drivers nowadays of the global GDP, it's actually clean technology manufacturing. This is definitely not bad, isn't it? So that's what I want us to talk about today a little bit more into detail. Hello, everybody. So my name is Tony Tio. I'm the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. So if you don't know us, what we do is we raise awareness about renewables energy in Africa, but also across the globe, right? So if you are a project developer, if you are an EPC company, if you are an investor, or maybe a supplier, and you're thinking that you want to invest into Africa, you want to expand your market in this beautiful continent, don't hesitate. In fact, I will urge you to reach out to me. Why? I want to help you to 10x your return on investment. I want to show you how I can help you to significantly reduce your business development costs. How am I going to do that? Whoa, I want to show you how, by using our awareness packages, we can help you to get more visibility to your target audience, leads, but also sales, and help you to grow your business. I know some of you, when they hear me talking, they say, I'm not sure if I can trust you. Don't worry, you're allowed to be skeptical. But all I'm just asking you, reach out. Let's have a talk. Let me show you what we've done for other people, and let's decide whether or not that will suit you or not. Is that fair? Excellent. I think that's a great way to look at it. So if you're okay with me. Now, let's come back into our discussion on today, right? So I want to dive a little bit more, into a report that I've seen recently from the IEA, which is the International Renewable Energy Agency. Yeah. So that's very important. Yeah. So they've been looking at the investment into clean technologies, and also looking at what could be the impact in terms of the economies, right? And for me, it's important, as I usually say, when such reports come out, for us to take a look at that, just to understand what are the key lessons, the key insight that we could be extracting from that. And that would direct us as to how we make our move forward. Especially if you're a business, you want to know, okay, I say that that's 200 billion. So those 200 billion, where is it coming from? So where is it going to, right? And how can I position myself? If you're a professional, if you know an area as investor specifically into one of these technologies, maybe if you have the right skills, you want to be positioning yourself, right? So, and if you're a government not playing part into this market, maybe there is a way for you to position yourself. So this is why I'm saying, when such report come out, don't just look at that, say it's nice. Read them, look at them, because this is intelligence that you're looking for. Yeah. But I know you're all very busy. You don't always have the time to do it. That's why people like myself, we're actually taking time with my team, right, to dive into those reports, to understand them, and come and dissect that a little bit for you, giving you some insight so that we can help you so figure out how it could be interesting for you or not. And that's what I want to do today. So today I'm looking at that report, looking at those investment into clean energy technologies. And in fact, the report actually it's giving off very interesting information. There's clearly it's a surge in manufacturing for clean energy investment. Yeah. So we're talking about solar PV and also batteries specifically, right? But there's more than that, right? Because I mentioned five areas. The solar PV and batteries are really what is actually standing out. So I must admit. And it clearly here underscore the economic growth, but also the new industrial and employment opportunity worldwide. So that's what I was saying. If you know what's happening, then you have a chance to know how to position yourself and to play your card. That's interesting because yesterday I was giving a masterclass on people who are interested stepping into renewables energy as an entrepreneur. And one of the questions somebody was asking me is, how do I know how to, position myself, absorb the information? That's exactly because when such information coming out, I will look at it, I read it, I consume it. But not just that, I would then use that with many other elements to understand how can I move my card, where should I be? Because somebody once told me that if you want to be a great player, you need to know where the board is right now and where it's going so that you can anticipate it. If you can do that, you're always gonna one or two steps ahead of other people, and this is how obviously you stand out. Yeah. So such a report, that is what it's saying. So clearly, as I say, 200 billion in 2023 and 70% more than 2022. That is, yeah, quite striking. Yeah. So that's what we're fighting. So there's a significant increase, yeah, compared to 2022. And investment in solar PV more than double. That's the other thing that I need to mention. Yeah. And also, battery manufacturing saw a 60% increase. So these are numbers that we see. Clearly, that's what, when I see figures like that, I know the industry growing. I don't need somebody to come and, sort of talk trash and casting some doubt. Yeah, people are allowed to that, no problem. But when I look at those facts, it tells me that yes, the industry clearly is growing. Something is happening. Yeah. So when I compare to when I started 10 years ago, we weren't there clearly, right? And in fact, what is actually interesting, I think I've seen other figures saying that why we had for some countries, I think it was the five biggest countries, is the five top solar company in the world. I think back in the days, I think we talked about probably 2005 around that. Their revenue combined was about 10 billion, and I think now it's more than increase, 10x. So that's showing clearly that here, as I say, things are moving here. So clearly, that's one thing that we could say. But another striking revelation is looking at the capacity and also the demand alignment. Yeah, it's important. Yeah. So the current manufacturing for solar PV modules, and that is very important, guys. Hang on. It's already meeting the projected demand for 2030, according to the IEA, which is the International Energy Agency, net zero emission scenario. Because what the IEA has done, they came up with a number of scenarios, that's uh, giving us an idea how which direction we're going to go, and depending on the direction we're choosing, what could be the impact, the consequences. And also they are the recommended one which we should be taking if we want to go toward the path of net zero emission. And based on that scenario, they're saying that the current manufacturing capacity, it's already at that level. So that's why we need to understand that, yeah, things are going in the right direction. Yeah. So, but the similar thing, it's what we're seeing as well for battery manufacturing capacity. It's already approaching the level needed as well for the net zero emission by the end of the decade. So from this standpoint, hey guys, there's going to be enough solar panel, and most likely there's going to be enough battery. This is what you want to know. Now, let's talk about where is this coming from? Where is this manufacturing capacity, or capability? Where is it concentrated? Yeah. So, because there's clearly, that's also what the report was saying, and that's what we also suspected. We see that as well, being part of the market, and not even if you're not part of the market, you guess, right? Because global manufacturing, I don't think if you didn't know. So, but there's only five countries that actually dominates the global manufacturing in the world, right? So only five countries. So I'm sure you can guess them, right? So I think right? We have China, we have the USA, we have the European Union. Okay, it's not it's a continent, not a country, but we have as well Japan, and we have Korea. Yeah, so those are the actually five that actually dominate. That you need to know about that. And India progressively joining as well the chorus. So in terms of the geographical distribution, the cost analysis. So what we have been seeing is actually clean energy manufacturing remain very concentrated, in regions such as China. Not a surprise there. I'm going to show you in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to show you a graphic figure that actually shows that, and you will see it's very interesting. So China and clearly dominates. Yeah, that's what we know. But it's not only in solar in other places, but clearly for the renewables energy guys, they are the superpower, the mega power, whatever you want to call it. They really dominate. Yeah, and the report is also saying that the landscape could be evolving over the coming years, but it depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about solar PV or battery, it's not exactly the same thing. Yeah, and it also highlights that there is some cost difference between the region. And as I say, the reason China is also dominating because it is the lowest, cost producer. So I can imagine. So manufacturing, it's a volume game, right? So if you have the volume, the market, clearly you can drop down the cost, and China has it. But what is actually interesting is to show that actually production cost is not just the only component. What we see where the biggest portion of the cost is coming from is operational cost. Yeah, so we're talking about here the cost of energy, material and component, and we talk about the labor. So this kind of cost, this actually is stored into the operational cost. And that's where you have a big chunk, and it depends on region you're talking about. It could be between 70% to 98%. So it means that there is something that clearly could be done here if you really know how to apply the right policy. Yeah. So this is one thing. But let me share with you. I promised that I wanted to show you that figure showing you in here when I was talking about the yes, I think this is the one. Let me just check first if I have the right one, and I want to show you that. Yes, I have the right one. Yep, I want to show you that the global manufacturing, so value added, looking at geo. So one second. So let me just select the right. Yep, here we go. No, then sorry. Yeah, that's here we go. So this is what we see. So the global manufacturing, you can see the progressions, from 2005 to 2023 and where we're going. Yeah. And as we could see, so if we're looking on the left in here, by geos, you could see how China has significantly expanded to become the global manufacturing hub. Yeah. That's what we have here. Japan has been more or less, yes, it actually reduced, but a little bit, and it's still a little bit constant. The EU as well, it is reducing, but that's actually global manufacturing, guys. That's not just clean energy. I just wanted to give you an idea of how things are going. Clearly, the party that is clearly losing out here. There's two guys clearly losing out here. You have the EU, but also the United States, as you can see. Yeah. So the rest of the world, yeah, slightly decreasing, but clearly China here dominates. Yeah. And you can look as well here in terms of the sectors, and electronics. Not a surprise, it's growing because that's the era of IT, AI, and whatever you have. Yeah. So this is giving you an idea of obviously where we're going. That's why I say that there's clearly a big champion in terms of the manufacturing. And for solar PV, like I say, 80% the solar PV comes from China, and it's not going to decrease that much, over the next, 5 to 10 years. Yeah. In battery technologies, what we see is slightly different. That's where we see progressively the United States and Europe are actually progressively, let's say, making a step forward. And I think if we're looking at the projection by 2030, they meant to each, I believe, own 15% of, I think both together 15% of the market, but China still dominate because China is able to produce as much as they do and even more at times, right? Simply because they have the scale, they have the market. So, yeah. So that is one thing that we seeing here. And what I wanted to show you as well, it's the level of investment per technology. Again, looking at how does that compare for the region as I talked to you. So let me again share my screen. Go back and share my screen, and you will see that it's again pretty interesting. So I look at that, share my screen now. What you could see is the investment by technology, but also by region, right? So you could see on the left here, start there. So you could see to the battery, there's a huge investment in batteries happening. Yeah, so it's growing. And guess what, guys? That's actually where it is interesting. So this is also a lot driven by the automaker, the car industry. Why? Because we have the rise of EVs, and usually, if you want to find out where are those market where battery is growing, just to give you a little bit of a hint here, you need to look at the market where EV also growing. So I just wanted to give you a look at that. The significant investment in terms of battery. So battery we definitely see here for 60 million in no, so what am I talking about? Not 60 million. It's at 120 million more so for 2023. Yeah, look at that clean technology. So and then solar PV, as I mentioned. For in terms of the solar PV here, so the region you can see that China dominates, clearly, and in terms of the battery as well, like I say, so the rest of the world is catching up a little bit. I wouldn't say even catching up. Let's say they progressively are gaining some shares, but China still strongly dominates. Yeah. So this is the key message, guys, that I want you to understand. So when it comes to uh to clean energy, guys, make no mistake, China is the superpower by far. So people saying, for example, that they don't want to be dealing with Chinese product, guys, you have no choice. This is where things are being manufactured. Maybe it's gonna change in the next 20 years, but for the foreseeable future, this is where things at. Yeah. So wanted to show you that. So one more thing that the report also was highlighting is important to mention. It's the fact that it's important for policymakers because it shows that there is clearly a need here for industrial strategies that will prioritize clean energy manufacturing and also will give you some guiding principle to inform you for future planning and also underscores all the importance of tailored approaches to suit a diverse context. But like I say, so if you really want to counter the dominance of China, hey, you gotta be doing something, right? Because China as well, you could see how it was growing between 2005 and 2023. The space of less than 2 decades, they completely dominated the market. Yeah. So guys, so it's good to have those kind of this kind of information. So yeah. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it up and say the report shows the pivotal role of clean energy manufacturing and really driving sustainable economic growth, right? It's facilitating here a transition to a low carbon future, which is what we all want. And I will really call on the policymakers and the industry leaders for you to navigate this transformative landscape. Because it is clear that strategic investment and supportive policies will be essential, right, in realizing the full potential of clean energy technology. So, yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed the little insight that I could put together for you here. There's a lot more that you can dive in, but feel free just to dive into the report yourself when time is kind. So, I'm just going to wrap it up and say one thing I've noticed is that this investment it's concentrated in China, the EU, plus UK, and we see that as well in the US and some other players. South America, in terms of clean energy technology, a lot happens. Some stuff are going on with regard to the wind sector. Some of the wind component, a little bit there, yeah. Solar probably a little bit. But the African continent, nothing. Nothing. No. Bad now we say as usual. But that's nothing. So the call for me here is to say there is for me here an opportunity for every African leaders here who's actually listening. What are you doing? You can step into that. We want to diversify manufacturing. Nothing is clearly or seriously happening. There's no strong investment. But for you to change the picture, we need to have the right policies in place to attract those investment. We need to create a market. That's what I'm saying here. We shouldn't have country level market. We need to have minimum region size level of market. Talk about Southern Africa, West Africa, East Africa, this kind of market, to really, otherwise, no serious manufacturer would consider coming to the country. We need as well to have the entrepreneurs, obviously, that are keen enough to go. I come across a couple of guys who are doing a lot of manufacturing job. I think they struggling, so they probably will be happy to have some support and help in here. And I know some program that I'm working on, GVI, Gold Venture Investment, looking at supporting SME startup in R&D space, getting some grants from the European Union. That's one initiative. There's many others. But clearly, we need entrepreneurs. We need to support them. We need people that are interested in that. And we also need to make sure that we develop the right skills into place. Yeah, that is one thing. So my call is to say, from the ask everybody operating Africa regions, what is that we doing towards manufacturing? We should stop just saying we need. Okay, how do we put that in place? Because investment is happening, 200 billion. That's what we had 2023. And it's going to keep on increasing, especially solar PV battery technologies. Yeah, what are we doing? That's the question. So good to have report like that. It shows that there's huge opportunities. The market is growing, and then yeah, from a global perspective, we are on the believe on the encouraging track. We can go a lot faster, and we will go a lot faster. In some region needs to step up. I've actually called on challenging Latin here, Latin America, and clearly my African brothers and sisters. Hey guys, you got a market. Opportunities here waiting for you. What are you doing? So I'm just gonna leave you here with that, guys, and then hoping to talk to you very soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye.